Hi everyone, Jared Kraus here. This video is really about how to set ourselves up to earn an income online, not just for when we are in a state of crisis like we're in now, but to future proof our income and have a safer lifestyle. So, personally, I've been through many crises myself in my life. In 2008, the crisis, I lost money. Not all of it, thankfully, but I lost a lot of money. I was investing in only the stock market at the time, and it's all I knew, which absolutely hurt me. I've also seen the property market go through tough times. I too have lost my job due to bankruptcy and was owed tens of thousands of dollars that I would never get. So I know what it's like to be in a state of fear and have zero control over what happens to me, my family, and my income. And from everything I've been through, I learned from it all. And now I have multiple online income streams, and I teach my clients to buy online income streams that are making thousands to tens of thousands of dollars per month. So essentially, this isn't my first rodeo. So, like, if you're someone who's in a tough position financially right now due to the crisis, maybe you are unable to work due to having to isolate. Maybe you are working, but you're not earning enough income. Maybe you have a business, but you had to close the doors. Or maybe you're just looking for a safer way to make an income during a crisis and be future proof, be safe through all future crises so you don't have to worry about being in the state again. Well, listen in because I'm going to share with you how you can protect yourself from the crisis, just like the successful online business owners are. First and foremost, what is the most important thing though to bring up is your mindset. In a state of crisis, we need to work on our mindset most, preferably before, but whilst we're in crisis, there's no better time to work on making our mindset better. You see, people who are making money online are doing it for a reason. They've been through the hard times. They know what it's like to live in a state of fear, and they decided to change their mindset because of it. You see, instead of focusing on bad things and how bad things could get, they could shift our focus, they decided to shift their focus from playing the blame game or pointing fingers and throwing their opinion around on what other people should be doing. And instead, they started focusing on solutions. How can they make their lifestyle better? How can they safeguard their income? How can they make their lifestyle safer whilst they earn an income? And how can they be solutions focused that they're able to help people who need things online, such as online shopping, which we'll get to shortly. But my point here is that you get what you focus on. And if you are drawing yourself into the negative media that's everywhere, it's easy to get caught up in that cycle. What's worse is you're not helping anyone. This only makes things worse. I know it's hard because environment is stronger than willpower. I'm going to say that again. Environment is stronger than willpower. And what that means is, like successful online business owners, you can change your environment. And instead of being around people who are only talking about negativity, you can put yourself in an environment of people who are solutions focused and fighting to make things better. For example, in my community, no one's posting about how bad things are in the crisis that we're in. We're all learning and we're all posting things on how to take advantage of this and what to do to set ourselves up so we're safe, which is another point. Problems are actually just opportunities in disguise. I'm going to repeat that again. But problems are just opportunities in disguise. You see, whilst most people are just freaking out about problems that are occurring due to the crisis, those who actually solve these problems are the ones who create opportunities for themselves. Just like I did when I pivoted from the crisis I faced in my life, and all the other successful online business owners have too. So getting your mind right is imperative. If you spend your time in negative environments, it's easy to have a pessimistic mindset. And because of the cloud of pessimism you have in your brain, you miss out on identifying problems which could become opportunities. And you stay stuck in this vicious cycle of fear, worry, and dread. Don't do that, guys. Change your environment, be solutions focused, and add value to the world in some way. And you won't just be helping you and those around you, but others as well. Secondly, is the government, right? You simply can't rely on the government to come in at this time and be your saving grace. In fact, you should never count on this because they've never been prepared for a crisis. How do I know this? Well, every crisis there is, people always lose their jobs, which means no income and no food, pushing people to go into a panic mode. I call this survival mode. And that's no good for anyone, especially those with a family and bills to pay. It's easy to see that when you do rely on one source of income that can easily be taken away by a crisis, like a job, that's we are not being completely responsible for our own lives. I've been there, and it was silly of me to do this, but I didn't know any better until I got smacked in the face one morning when I walked into work and realized that there was not only no work, but there's also no money. I wasn't getting paid and I was owed quite a lot of money as well. So I had to take responsibility. And that's what I urge everybody else to do is take responsibility and never rely on the government because they're in so much debt already anyway. How can we expect them to help us in a state of emergency? They're not going to pay our bills. And there's this saying that I heard a long time ago is that if it's meant to be, it's up to me. Meaning, if I want anything in my life, like an income, we can make money online, maybe multiple income streams online, then we need to take responsibility. We need to pull up our socks and go get it ourselves. That's important. So don't rely on the government. And we need to take a little bit more responsibility for how we live our life and how we earn an income. Thirdly, is I want to talk about the traditional forms of investing. A lot of people go, oh, wow, it's a crisis, and they go away and rush off and try to make some money into some different different forms of investing in different markets. The reality is they don't know anything about these markets, and there's some bad things that happen in these markets. Number one, which is the stock market, it's very, very volatile. People are investing with their emotions. And this is the bad thing that happens in a state of crisis. People become emotional and they invest with their emotions and they end up losing a lot of money. Even though they think it's going to be a great opportunity, it's just that they don't understand at the time. And it's not just the stock market that's volatile, all the different types of markets. You know, if you're going to be trading in different gold, like precious metals, or you're going to be trading in different currencies, and it could be property that changes as well. So markets are quite volatile at this moment, you know, and in the traditional forms of investing. Also, when you go to invest, you shouldn't be investing for the short term and just to make some big wins, right? In a short term, because we all know that the most successful investors in the world, they make their real money from long-term investments and unemotional investments, which is what I was talking about before. On top of that, they know where to go to get great returns, not crummy returns from traditional investments. So the difference is that when you go to a different form of investing, say like buying a website business, for example, you can get a 20 to 30% return on your investment. And that not only is that higher than traditional forms of investing, but also traditional forms of investing in crisis is very, very volatile. Whereas when you're in the online space and things go bad and nobody can go anywhere, they can't leave their house, they need to buy things online, right? That's where everything's going right now, is everyone's spending most of their time online, meaning that if you want to buy something, you need to buy it online, which means those of us that have online businesses are in a great space, particularly if we're in the right niche, which I'm going to touch on soon. So if you want to be earning an income during this time and well into the future, we should be turning our focus to online businesses because it's a safeguard, it's a safe haven when people can't do anything. We still need to have the internet. We still need to run our lives through the internet. We're so reliant on the internet for our day-to-day life. So what I want you guys to think of is in traditional forms of investing versus the online space, plus the returns that can be made, also with investing without our emotions and investing for the long term. So say, for example, we were to invest in the stock market. We don't know that that stock is going to be going up gradually over a long time when we're in a state of crisis. However, when because those businesses or those companies that you may be investing in may not actually be needed. They may not be necessary in a state of crisis. But if you invest in an online business that's successful and it's something people need throughout a crisis, then you can do quite well out of it. And also you get to keep it for the long term as well, which is where you do really well in your investments. So that's really important, is to understand those different forms of investing and traditional forms of investing. Fourthly is looking into an online business. Those guys that are protected are in the right niche, right? We choose niche over business model. So sometimes people might like to start investing to get into a different business model to make their life easier. However, those businesses that are recession and crisis proof are in the right niche. What I'm talking about is people that are in business where they're either selling perishables or e-commerce, or they're in a particular niche where people need things. Like if I'm selling toilet paper online, I'm going to be doing well, not just because there's a crisis and people are bulk buying toilet paper and freaking out with emotions, but because people are forever going to need to buy toilet paper. Even if there's a crisis in 5 years, people are still going to need to buy toilet paper. That can be the same with toothpaste and any type of food or any type of necessities. I know that webcams and microphones, a lot of people are trying to work from home and do their own thing online now because that's all that they can do. So if you think about the right niche over the business model, that can really protect you from these different types of crises if you're trying to make an income online like these successful online business owners actually are. The fifth thing that I want to talk about is a lot of people have this conception they need to go rush out and they need to make some money online, and everybody gets bought into the hype of they need to start to make money online. You need to start your own online business. In reality, though, it's really, really hard, especially in a state of crisis, let alone without that, because 90% of startups fail. So how do I know this? Because I built startups myself and failed. So why would you go away and run that risk of putting your time, effort, and energy and even money into starting an online business when you don't know if it's going to work anyway? Whereas if you get the right niche, the right business model, in the right form of investing, then you could buy something that is already ticking along and you can see it's making an income, especially in the state of crisis. If it's still doing it in that state of crisis, it's going to be doing exceptionally well when the crisis finishes. So you may as well buy something that has a proven track record and it's making money every single month. That's called buying yourself an online income stream, right? So the last thing that I want to talk about is don't worry, don't freak out. Don't get too emotionally involved and get caught up in the pessimism and the negativity, like I said before, because you have time. You have time to set yourself up. And that's the main thing, is you want to spend some time, do the right thing and set yourself up and think for the long term. Don't dwell on the media all day, every day. Work on a skill instead that can take a month or more to learn, right? This is not like studying university and you need to spend or going to college, you need to spend a good certain amount of years on how to do something and do theory before you go away and take action. You can learn the theory and then take action as you go. And that's really important. This doesn't take a whole lot of time to do, which is great to learn theory, but you also want to spend a little bit of time taking the action to make sure you understand it correctly, because to know and not do is to not know. You need to understand the theory and then put it into action. Plus, you don't want to become emotional and panicked like everyone else. You want to take your time and set yourself up properly. For example, if you rush in anything, you end up making mistakes. And you don't want to make mistakes when you're trying to build a foundation for yourself in the future. You don't want to build shaky foundations because you're going away and doing the fool's rush in type style because everything's going into panic mode. No, this online business space is not going anywhere and it's here to stay. And people are always going to need to be buying things online, meaning that you can always use this form of investment for the long term. So you may as well buy something that is a great investment, learn how to do it the right way as well. Also, is you have time to not just buy something, but keep adding value to the investment you buy. build it, grow it, and make it even more recession proof by adding more income streams and revenue streams and traffic sources as well. For example, I love to keep adding value. Those of us who add more value in life and focus on solving problems and helping people, we do exceptionally well, which is why I help people in my community that are already working with me is I just keep giving them more and more and more and more. For example, I have a new growing online business course coming out where people through this crisis can keep learning more and more and more, and I can help them make their lives better, which is really important. Now, guys, I went through so much in this video. I'm going to recap it again. Number one, we need to ensure that we have the right mindset around this. We need to be positive, or we need to be solutions focused, not pointing the finger, not playing the blame game. We also can't just be relying on external forces like the government. They're not going to be there to pay our bills. It's also important for us to understand that traditional forms of investing is where people lose out a lot of the time when crises happen. They get very volatile and everybody freaks out and gets very emotional. With the online space, people need the internet to work for the world to go around. We need to be buying things online, especially in a state of crisis, so it's not going anywhere. Fourthly, we want to make sure we're in the right business model. The right business niche, which is important. We also don't want to go away and start something that we don't know is going to work because 90% of startups fail. But also, you have time. You have time to learn this. Take your time and go through absolutely everything about this space before you jump in. And that's what my goal is with this video, was just to let you know about this actual opportunity. There are businesses already out there, already earning an income that you can go away and buy. And if you go away and learn all this sort of stuff yourself, I'm happy. I've done my bit. That's all there is to it. If you need extra help, of course, I have free trainings. I have free resources. I have a podcast. I work with people in a private community as well. But I have so much free content that you can go away and consume that people absolutely love. For example, most of the time when people listen and find out about my podcast is they end up binge watching it anyway. So if you feel like binge watching the podcast, please be sure to do so. Now, I know a lot of people are going to want more and more and more from me. So just to prevent my inboxes from filling up and asking how you guys can go away and work with me, yes, I have a paid community. I have things that people can do with working with me one-on-one and all that sort of stuff. And because I understand times are tough for some, but a lot of still want to work with me. They want to work with somebody who's been through a crisis. They know what to do. They can hold their hand and all that sort of stuff. I've decided to give anyone who applies for my community a 50% discount on their first month. But just take that out of the picture here. First, go away and just consume as much content as you can about this space and learn about it, right? So put that aside. With the very least, I suggest you just go away and do all your research here, consume my content, other people's content, and that's a free way to see if this is the right thing for you. So I hope you guys got a bunch of value from this video, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.